Welcome to the Beacons Way 100-mile Ultramarathon Race Brief. My name is Wayne Drinkwater and I'm the race director at GB Ultras, and today we're going to cover some of the key points that you need to know for the race itself. So the race follows the Beacons Way, the official trail of the Brecon Beacons National Park. It's an absolute stunning route with 6,300 metres of ascent approximately. The race itself follows from east to the west. So it takes in the full traverse of the national park, taking in some of the Black Mountains. It's a very, very special area, and comes down into different villages along the way. But also the Central Fans, so Penny Fan, the highest point in South Wales, and also heading over to the Carmarthen Fans, which are again a very, very special and unique place. Race HQ and race registration is at Abergavenny Castle and is available on a Friday evening prior to the race itself. From 5:30 p.m. till 9 p.m. on race day morning from 4:15 a.m. till 5:45 a.m. There are long stay car parks in the area, so there's Castle Street, which is just outside of the castle, Castle Street car park, where there's toilets there for the event starts, and also at Fairfield car park or Tudor car park for long stay. Long stay up to 6 days is available. It is pay and display. So on race day morning, when you're approaching the castle grounds, before you get to the gates, you'll notice that there's a number of local houses, residents that are probably going to be asleep from 4 till 6 a.m, which is when you're going to be arriving. So please, from our side of things, just be aware of this and keep the volume down until you're actually within the grounds. So as you pass in these houses, please, and walking up, we'll also have a marshal in place there, but just be aware of that more than anything else. We don't want to disturb anybody at that kind of time in the morning. If you're at Race HQ on the Friday or the Saturday and you're collecting your bib number, you'll notice at the bottom of the bib number there's two strips. One which is drop bag 1 and one which is drop bag 2. So these strips will need to be torn off and attached to your drop bag so that it can go to the correct location. So those locations are checkpoint 5 at approximately 50 miles, which is at Talibont, or checkpoint 9, approximately 78 miles at Landesant Village Hall. So just bearing that in mind. There will be a mass start at 6 a.m. Please ensure that you close any gates or stiles behind you. We want to make sure that any livestock doesn't go from one farm to the next. Litter, please just make sure that when you're getting your phone out or anything like that out of your pack, that you're not inadvertently dropping something out of your pack, some litter there. When you get to a checkpoint, make sure that you dump all of your litter. Anything that you don't want to be carrying, make sure that you leave it with us at checkpoint where there's bins available. So yeah, basically just be really kind of vigilant on there. So at Race HQ, you'll collect your tracker at race registration, and that will allow family and friends and the event team to track your progress throughout the event. The tracking works at 2-minute intervals, so it should pick up your location, provided it's worn on the outside of your pack and it's got line of sight with the sky. But basically just bear in mind that as you're up and down the mountains, that if there's no phone signal, then there won't be any signal for the trackers. So it really is hand in hand with the phone signal for the area. So when you're up high on the mountains, Black Mountains or the Central Fans or Carmarthen Fans, you'll likely have signal there, and then as soon as you drop down towards a checkpoint, it might lose it unless it's in a village or a town. So just really kind of be aware there. Okay, so your race number should be visible at all times. It's really essential that we know what numbers come through, just in case there's a fault with your tracker. We know that you've actually passed through that checkpoint. Also, if there's a fault with the tracker, we can replace it. We can give you a different tracker, or it might be that it's worn incorrectly, it's inside your pack. So we can identify your bib number by seeing your race number on you. Okay, so checkpoint locations, where are they? Checkpoint 1 is at the Skirrid Inn at 7 miles into the event. Checkpoint 2 is at Lamphany Treats at 13 miles into the event. Checkpoint 3 is Crickhall Village Hall at 26 miles. Just bear in mind that support teams will have to park round the corner at the sports club instead of on the street beside the village hall. There is no parking on that road. Checkpoint 4 is at Bulsh Village Hall, which is at 36 miles. Checkpoint 5 is at Talibont at 45 miles. Checkpoint 6 is at Story Arms at 52 miles. Checkpoint 7 is at San Helen Car Park at 59 miles. Checkpoint 8 is at Penwold Car Park at 65 miles. Checkpoint 9 is at Landesant Village Hall at 78 miles. Checkpoint 10 is at the Mountain View at 87 miles. So there's plenty of checkpoints, 10 checkpoints spanning along the Brecon Beacons National Park. As mentioned, support teams are more than welcome throughout the event. With it being the Brecon Beacons National Park, there's sometimes not necessarily postcodes. I'll put that into your sat nav. So there's what 3 words and there's coordinates that we can give you, but it's probably best to, for any support teams that are supporting you during the race, to drop a pin or find out what 3 words prior to arriving at the, or trying to find it when you've got limited or signal or limited knowledge of the route itself. So ask them to do a bit of research to make sure that they arrive at the right points, rather than going, oh, can't find a checkpoint, and messaging the team, which is taking us away from our job, which is supporting you. This leads us on to the emergency instructions for the Beacons Way 100-mile event. If there is a minor injury, please let a checkpoint, a race marshal or race HQ know. Only in an emergency where there's a risk to life or limb, please follow these instructions. Number 1, please use your emergency thermal bag or bivy bag and use any spare clothing to keep warm. Number 2, trigger the SOS board that's on your tracker. So you'll hold down the button on the front of the tracker for approximately 3 seconds, and that will alert Race HQ, providing there is signal. There is no substitute to speaking to Race HQ on the phone. Number 3, dial 999 and ask for an ambulance. Number 4, when possible, inform Race HQ. We may have paramedic or one of the race directors who are first responders local to you, so we can get to you quicker. And number 5 is attract the attention of fellow runners by shouting or using your whistle. For the most up-to-date GPX of the route, you'll be able to head on to the event website at gbultras.com, onto the Beacons Way 100 mile or 100 kilometre, and you'll be able to find the GPX there. It'll redirect you with a picture of the map, redirect you to Outdoor Active and View Ranger. You'll be able to download a copy of the GPX there. This may well change if there's any diversions in the lead up to the event. The GPX, please bear in mind, the GPX is just a guide. It follows the Beacons Way as much as possible, but it is just a guide for you. This completes the race brief for the Beacons Way 100 mile event. Thanks so much for watching and for supporting the event. We'll look forward to seeing you in Abergavenny.